Hey everybody, how you doing? This is Dr. Carmen Bryan. This is Car Chronicles. How you guys doing? You doing all right? All right, well let's do this. On a lot of videos we talk about not just myself, but a lot of content creators, therapists, coaches, educators that talk about narcissist abuse, and we talk a lot about the damage that these narcissists do to our bodies. And I just did a video yesterday, and I was talking about, the correlation between the mental health and the physical health. Because mental health and physical and medical is connected. It is connected. A lot of times things that may look like a mental health issue could actually be a medical problem, and vice versa. A medical problem could be a manifestation of a mental illness or a mental health issue or a behavioral issue or an emotional problem. And when you're with a narcissist, to recover, it takes a lot of effort. It takes a lot of work. It's easy to get into the situationship, but coming out the situationship, you're coming out with a lot of scars, a lot of damage. That's just like entering into the military. The way that the military looks at it is you come in at 100%. By the time we leave out of the military, we're 100%, disabled according to the VA. And some people they've lost their limbs, they've lost, their health has declined, coming out of the military. And so, there is compensation for those that come out of the military that have served this country. Some have given all, and all of us have given some. You see that saying, some have given all, have given up their life, and all of us have given some. And most of us have come out, majority of us have come out scarred, and there is compensation through the Veterans Administration for those of us that have come out. Spinal issue, knee problems, all sorts of things that veterans have left out of the military. Veterans have been scarred. That's just what it is. Our bodies are no longer 100% according to, what the military had us doing, what the military had us go through, the vigorous training, the impact on our bodies. Well, think about that coming out of the situationship with the military. With the narcissists. You wish there was a veterans compensation for those of us that have survived the war with a narcissist. And we talk about all the time the mental scars, the brain fogs, the problem with remembering things, clearing up your memory, your health decline. You come out and your body has been in fight or flight for so long, it's been sustaining you where you don't even know, how much your body has broken down, because once you get out and your body begins to calm down and go to a norm, it's just like a riverbed that's being drained. Once that riverbed is being drained, you see all the debris that's in there, cars and stuff that's in there, and your body is starting to calm down, but you're starting to see it's like a car that is sitting and is cooling off. You can hear it click and clank, and you find out a lot of the water starts leaking, because when it's driving and the heat is going, there's no water leaking. When the car stops, all of a sudden stuff starts leaking out. Likewise, for those of you that have been in this. Now, I said all that to say this. Now imagine what it's doing to your body as an adult, and what it does to a child that is young and full of energy. The trauma that is taking place in this child's mind. And then you wonder, how do you think a narcissist evolved? How do you think, children grew up into narcissistic personality disorder? Something, I'm not saying all of them, because there's no definitive answer as to what has caused narcissistic personality disorder. Environment, abuse, neglect, rejection, genetics, all sorts of exposures that has caused people to develop narcissistic personality disorder. The whole cluster B, if you look at it, is from trauma. Borderline personality disorder, histrionic personality disorder is all from trauma. So imagine, yes, we look at the narcissist and we're looking at these individuals as monsters. And, the things that they do is horrific, because you do have some that are malignant, that have no conscience, no empathy, no remorse, no regret, can unalive an entire family and sit down and have dinner, as if nothing ever happened. No conscience, no nothing. These malignant narcissists. And yet these malignant narcissists and these narcissists are also, have come from a childhood of trauma themselves. A lot of them have gone through the most horrific things that they're doing to other people. Now, I had a conversation with someone, and it was a teenager that asked me, does everyone that is abused become abusers? Because I don't want to be like that. I don't want to be like my parent, that is a narcissist. And I explained to the child, I was like, the teenager, I said, 9 times out of 10, when you have a person that abuses, whether it's sexual abuse or whether it's physical abuse, 9 times out of 10, they have been abused. But not everyone that has been abused becomes an abuser. So, think about that for a minute. But then you have children that are coming out of these situations, males and females and mothers or fathers that were narcissists, grandparents that were narcissists. And you don't think these kids are being affected? Some of you are guilt parenting. And I can understand, when you guilt parent and you feel like guilty that you couldn't save your children from this trauma. You feel guilty because why did I choose this person? Why did I procreate with this person? Why did I expose my children to this individual? You didn't know, and you can't beat yourself up for something that you didn't know. And now you're looking at the aftermath. And some of you are looking at your children and you know something is not right. And a lot of parents do live in denial. They refuse to have their children checked. They refuse to go to a therapist, while they're young. That's when you want to be proactive while they're young, because there's a possibility that you can change the trajectory in which they're going, to get the right therapist in their life to help them while they're young, to deal with the trauma. Some of these children are so traumatized. Some of the mothers or fathers just left their life abruptly. They do the same thing they did to you. You're an adult, and it's not the fact that you can take more than the child can, but this child is not capable of recovering from that as quick as you can. There are scars left in these children's hearts. These children are traumatized. You're watching them and you're wondering, is my child autistic? What's going on with my child? Is my child delayed? What is happening to my child? And sometimes it could be autism. It could be developmental or cognitive delays. And then what if it's complex PTSD? Children have been diagnosed with PTSD and complex PTSD. And some of your children are suffering. And a lot of parents are in denial because they feel so guilty that they're in denial that something is really wrong with their child, that's going on with their child. Especially those of you that have empaths as children. Some of you are not empaths, so you don't know what it looks like. You don't know what's going on in that child's mind. Talk to a person that you know is an empath and ask them what it was like growing up as an empath, because they're highly sensitive. They're very, very sensitive to their environments. They're highly sensitive to people and feelings and emotions because they've been traumatized. A lot of them have been traumatized. So they're highly sensitive to people, hurting people, or people that are hurters, that are abusers. But the problem is that a lot of times when you're not what that child is, you're in denial, but you're looking at your child and you know that there's something different. You know that there's something off. But in your mind, you're trying to put it out of your mind because you won't believe that something is going on with your kid. When a child begins to manifest certain types of behaviors, when a child starts acting out in school, when a child is, you say is hard-headed, they're acting out in school, they're starting to have behavior issues, they're hitting, they're spitting, they're biting, they're kicking, they're hitting the teachers, you're moving them from school to school, you're doing, that right there is a cry for help. That right there is letting you know that there's something going on with the child, because a child cannot articulate for themselves. They cannot advocate for themselves. They can't say that I'm depressed, I'm anxious. They don't understand the feelings. They can't process the feelings. They don't understand what is happening. They don't understand that they're being triggered, that they have triggers. They don't understand. Some of them have ADHD, and parents don't want to medicate their kids. That's understandable. And I understand that, there is, the medication that is used for ADHD is usually a stimulant, but they do have medication that is non-stimulant, that acts like a stimulant, that helps that child. I've had many people come in that were drug abusers, substance abusers, that were once homeless, that were misdiagnosed. They were given medications for ADHD and they actually had bipolar disorder, or vice versa. And it was the first time that they ever had been properly diagnosed, and they grieved the fact that their parents did not believe in medications and they suffered through school. Some of them didn't finish school, but they suffered through school, and they had other emotional issues, and they talked about it as an adult. If somebody would have interjected and helped me, I needed help because I was abused, I was misused. I went through so much, and my parent tried to love the hell out of me, and they couldn't. I needed help. Help your children, y'all.